What if the thing he can't stop thinking about is something you did without even knowing it? What if it wasn't the way you looked, or what you wore, or how perfectly you played the role he expected, but something much deeper, something that touched a part of him he didn't even know was watching? You see, there are things a woman does that don't just catch a man's eye. They stay with him, not for a moment, for a lifetime. They echo in his mind when the room is quiet. They pull at his memory, even when he's holding someone else's hand. Why? Because real presence cannot be forgotten. Real connection leaves fingerprints on the soul. Marcus Aurelius once said, "The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts." And if your energy, your presence, your love was real, he carries the color of it still. He might act like he forgot. He might try to move on, but he will remember, because some women don't just enter a man's life, they shape it. And when a woman does something unforgettable, something rare, something real, he doesn't just remember it, he replays it, over and over again. Think of a melody, one that plays only once, but lingers in the heart forever. You don't hum it because it's catchy. You hum it because it moved something in you. That's the kind of impact you had. Not loud, not showy, but deep, unshakable. He didn't forget it. He can't, even if he walks away, even if he tries to find it in someone else. And queens, this is where the truth begins to rise. Because maybe right now you're wondering why he pulled away, why he chose a path that didn't lead back to you. Maybe you're sitting in silence, asking what you did wrong, but listen closely. It was never about being too much or not enough. It was about being unforgettable in a world full of temporary. He may not say it. He may not even admit it to himself. But he thinks about you because you left something no one else can copy. And this is your moment. The moment you stop shrinking. The moment you stop waiting. The moment you remember who you truly are. You are not ordinary. You are not replaceable. And now you rise. Not just as a woman, but as something far greater. A queen, not because of a crown he gave you, but because of the power you've always had within. If this message touched something deep inside you, if it reminded you of the power you've always had, even when you forgot it for a moment, then let us know. Like this video and subscribe to the channel, because we are here pouring our hearts into every word, working hard to create content that lifts you, heals you, and reminds you that you were never meant to be forgotten. You were meant to reign. Number 1. The way you loved him when he didn't deserve it. Have you ever noticed how he remembers you most? When he's lying next to someone who never once loved him the way you did. Not the surface kind, not the easy kind, but the kind of love that stood strong, even when he didn't deserve it. The kind that held him when he was hard to hold, that forgave what others would have walked away from, that saw the best in him, even when he was showing you the worst. He may act like he's moved on. He may act like you never mattered. But the truth? He will never forget the way you loved him when he was unworthy of it. There's a saying, real gold fears no fire, and that's exactly who you were. You stayed kind when it would have been easier to be cruel. You gave, not because he earned it, but because your love came from a deeper place. You didn't love him because he was perfect. You loved him because you knew how to love deeply. And now that you're gone, that kind of love has become his ghost. He looks for it. He misses it. But he can't find it. Because what you gave can't be copied. Imagine a lighthouse in the middle of a violent storm. That was you. He was lost. He was unsure. And while he drifted in and out, you were steady, Even when he turned away, even when he brought his storm to your peace, you stood tall. You gave warmth, you gave light. And now that he's out there again, trying to find his way, he remembers. He remembers the light, but he can't return to it, because you're no longer waiting. And maybe you're still hurting, still wondering why loving him wasn't enough. But hear this, you were not weak for loving him at his worst. You were powerful, because it takes real strength to love someone who didn't know how to love you back. And now, it's time. Time to take all that love, all that fire, all that light, and pour it into yourself. You are not just a woman who loved deeply. You are the woman he will remember for the rest of his life. So now, rise, not with anger, not with regret, but with fire in your eyes. Because you were never just someone who loved him. You are the storm he will never escape. Write this in the comments and claim it. He didn't deserve it, but I loved like a queen. Queens, if this message spoke to your soul, if it reminded you of your own strength, like this video and subscribe to the channel. We are working hard to bring you these powerful, life-changing lessons, because your reign is just beginning. Number 2. The moment you stopped explaining and started disappearing. Have you ever noticed how quiet becomes unforgettable when it used to be full of love? There was a time when you explained everything, your feelings, your actions, your love. You texted first, you called, you showed up, you tried to fix what was breaking, but then came that moment, that heavy, silent moment when you just stopped. Not out of spite, not because you didn't care, but because you finally saw the truth. He wasn't listening. And when a woman stops explaining herself, her silence becomes louder than anything she could ever say. There's a quote that says, "Sometimes the loudest cry for respect is silence." And that silence, that's the moment he remembers. Not the arguments, not the tears, but the stillness after the storm. Because when you stopped talking, when you stopped trying, something shifted. He thought he won. He thought you gave up. But what he didn't see was that you had outgrown the need to convince him of your worth. And queens, that moment? That's when he started to feel your absence in every room, every thought, every regret. Imagine a lighthouse. It doesn't chase ships. It stands tall. It shines. It guides. But when ignored, it doesn't follow. It simply fades from view. That's what you became. A guiding light he took for granted. Until it went dark. Now, he's searching for it again, not realizing that the light isn't gone. It just stopped shining for him. That's the kind of silence that echoes in a man's heart long after the goodbye. Relationships are built on energy. When you gave and he took, the balance was already broken. But now that you've stopped giving your explanations, your time, your heart, he finally realizes what it meant. He remembers the sound of your voice, your presence, your effort, and wonders why it's gone. But queens, it's not gone. You simply took it back. You took you back. Beautiful woman, your silence is not emptiness. It's power. It's peace. It's you choosing yourself for the first time. This is not your weakness. This is your rise, your turning point. And now let him sit in the quiet he created while you step into the life you were always meant for. Write this in the comments and claim it. My silence speaks louder than words. Queens, let the world know you are done explaining, done chasing, done shrinking. We are working hard to bring you life-changing lessons made to help you remember what you truly are. Unforgettable. Number 3, the way you carried your pain without making it his problem. Have you ever held back your tears so well he never even knew you were breaking? Have you ever smiled in front of him while your heart was silently screaming behind your eyes? that, right there, is something he will never forget. Because the truth is, a woman who carries her pain with quiet strength leaves a mark deeper than words ever could. He might not have seen the nights you spent wondering what changed. He might not know about the moments you wanted to scream, but chose silence instead. But one day, when he's alone, he'll remember. He'll remember how you never made your heartbreak his burden, and that will haunt him in ways he never expected. Seneca once said, "Sometimes even to live is an act of courage," and you lived through it. You stayed soft in a world that tried to harden you. You gave love even when you weren't sure you had any left. And the most unforgettable part, you didn't throw your pain at him. You didn't beg. You didn't blame. You simply stood tall, swallowed your heartbreak, and chose dignity over drama. That kind of woman, she's not just remembered, she's never replaced. Think of a candle burning in the wind. Most flames flicker and die when the breeze hits. But the rare ones steady themselves and keep glowing, even as everything around them threatens to blow them out. You were that steady flame. You didn't make a scene. You didn't ask him to carry the weight you were quietly holding alone. And now, that strength, your strength, is the very thing that plays on repeat in his memory. Maybe he thought you didn't feel it. Maybe he thought you moved on too easily. But what he missed is that real strength doesn't always shout. Sometimes it looks like a woman holding herself together when she's falling apart. And when he looks back, when the noise fades and reality sets in, it won't be the arguments or the loud emotions that stay with him. It'll be the way you hurt without losing your grace. Beautiful woman, your power was never in falling apart. It was in how you chose to rise without asking for permission. You're not broken. You're the storm after the silence, the fire that never went out. Write this in the comments and claim it. My silence was my strength. He will never forget it. We are here, working day and night to bring you the kind of truth that doesn't just inspire, it transforms. This is your moment. This is your reign. Number 4, that smile you gave even when you were breaking. Have you ever smiled while your heart was breaking, just so he wouldn't see the storm inside you? That smile, the one you forced when he pulled away, the one you gave when he chose her, the one that said, "I'll be okay," even when you weren't. He remembers that smile. He might not talk about it. He might not even understand why it haunts him, but it does, because that smile wasn't weakness. It was your quiet strength. And no matter where he goes, no matter who he's with, he will never forget the look in your eyes when you smiled through the pain he caused. There's a quote that says, "She wore pain like pearls, graceful, quiet, shining." That was you. You didn't fall apart. You didn't scream. You didn't beg. You smiled. And in that one moment, you showed more power than words ever could. That is the kind of strength that stays in a man's mind. Because he expected tears. He expected you to break. But what he got was grace, dignity, and a goodbye that didn't need to be spoken. Think of a candle that keeps burning even in the wind. It flickers, it dances, but it doesn't go out. That was your love. That was your heart. He watched you glow, even as everything around you cracked. And now that image burns into his memory. Because she, the one he chose, may smile in the sunshine, but you smiled in the storm. Right now, maybe you feel tired. Maybe you're asking why your love wasn't enough. Maybe you're wondering why he couldn't see what you gave. But hear this, beautiful woman. Your smile through the pain is what made you unforgettable. That's why he can't stop thinking about you. because while others crumble, you stood tall. And now it's time for something more. It's time to rise, not as the broken woman who smiled through it, but as the queen who grew stronger because of it. So take a breath, look in the mirror, and see her, the woman who smiled when she should have shattered. That's not weakness, that's power, that's royalty. Write this in the comments and claim it. My silent smile is louder than his regrets. Say it with pride, queens, and let the world know you're done hiding your strength. And if this message found your heart, if it reminded you of your fire, like this video and subscribe to the channel. We're working hard to bring you lessons that heal, empower, and remind you you were never meant to be forgotten. You were meant to reign. Number 5. The fire in you that didn't die after he left. Have you ever wondered what it does to a man when he sees the fire in you still burning, even after he walked away? He thought leaving would break you. He believed your light would fade without his presence. He expected silence, tears, maybe even desperation. But what he didn't expect was your glow. The fire in you that refused to die, the passion, the strength, the warmth that didn't flicker, it rose. And now, even if he doesn't say it, even if he's pretending to have moved on, he feels it. Every time he closes his eyes, every time the world gets quiet, your fire is there, still burning, still unforgettable. There's a quote that says, "The phoenix doesn't cry when it burns, it prepares to rise." And that's exactly what happened. You didn't crumble in his absence. You didn't fall apart just because he chose her. You rose. Slowly, quietly, beautifully. And the very thing he thought would destroy you, it became your fuel. Think of a candle in a dark room. He thought by walking away he could snuff it out. But he didn't realize your fire isn't fragile. It isn't a flicker. It's a wildfire. One spark of pain, one broken promise, one goodbye, and you became unstoppable. You lit up every part of yourself he never saw. And now, no matter how far he runs, no matter who he holds, he will feel the heat of what he lost. Because your fire didn't die, it grew, and it made you impossible to forget. Maybe he thought you'd wait, maybe he thought your world would pause for him, but queens don't wait. Queens rebuild, queens rise. The moment he left, he thought the story was over, but what he didn't know was that you were just beginning. And now you shine in a way he can't reach. He made his choice, and your fire will be the reminder of the woman he can never have again. This is your truth now. No more shrinking, no more explaining. You are not ashes, you are fire. Say this to yourself and let the world feel it. My fire didn't die, it became untouchable. Write this in the comments, queens, and claim it with your full heart. We are working hard to bring you real, life-changing lessons because your power deserves to be seen, heard, and remembered. Number 6. The way you let him go without losing yourself. What breaks a man more than losing a woman? Watching her let go of him without a single ounce of begging, without a tear meant to change his mind, without shattering herself to hold on to something that was already slipping away. He expected a breakdown. He expected you to fall apart, to plead, to fight for him, even when he had already stopped fighting for you. But instead, you walked away with your head high, with your heart still whole, with your soul intact. And that is the moment he will never forget. There's something unforgettable about a woman who doesn't lose herself while losing someone she once loved. She doesn't crumble. She transforms. She does not disappear. She evolves. And while he tries to convince himself that you didn't care, deep down he knows you cared enough to let him go, but you finally cared for yourself more. Marcus Aurelius once said, "He who lives in harmony with himself lives in harmony with the universe." And Queen, when you chose peace over chaos, when you stopped trying to hold together what was already broken, you didn't lose love. No, you found your power. He will remember that. Not the arguments, not the silence, but the way you let him go like a woman who finally remembered who she was. Imagine a candle in the wind. It flickers, it bends, but it doesn't go out. It pulls itself back into a steady glow. That was you. You didn't burn out trying to keep his world warm. You simply stopped burning for someone who couldn't feel your fire. And now, as he lies awake in quiet moments, trying to recreate what he lost, he will come face to face with the truth. He let go of a woman who never stopped shining. This is where you rise, not broken, not bitter, but bolder, brighter, stronger. You don't need closure from a man who couldn't see your worth. You are the closure. You are the ending and the beginning, the power in your walk, the calm in your silence, the strength in your release. That is what he can't stop thinking about. So now, lovely woman, write this in the comments and claim it with your whole heart. I let go, but I never lost myself. Let the world know that you are done breaking for love that didn't see you, because you are not just healing, you are rising into a version of yourself that no one will ever take for granted again. We are here, working hard to create powerful and life-changing lessons just for you, because you were never meant to chase. You were meant to reign. Number 7, that one look that said, "Everything without you saying a word." Have you ever looked into his eyes, said absolutely nothing, and still told him everything? That one moment when the silence between you felt louder than any scream. No words, no tears, just a single look that shook him more than anything you ever said. That's the kind of moment he will never forget. Because that look, it held all your truth. It held every emotion you tried to explain. It was the goodbye he didn't expect, the goodbye he didn't know he feared, until he saw it in your eyes. Some women scream, some chase, some beg, but the one who can say everything with a single look, she is the one who haunts his memory forever. Because that look wasn't weakness, it wasn't sadness. It was the moment he realized you had nothing left to prove. You weren't trying to be heard anymore. You weren't trying to stay. That look was the beginning of your escape and the start of his regret. Sometimes the most powerful message is the one never spoken. And Queen, that message was clear. I loved you, but I won't lose myself for you. That's what he saw. And now, he replays that moment again and again. Because deep down he knows he lost you in that silence. He saw it in your eyes, the strength, the stillness, the end. Think of a storm that comes without thunder, no sound, no warning, just a sky that darkens, a wind that shifts, and everything changes. That's what you became, a quiet storm. He didn't see it coming, but he'll never forget how it felt. At that moment, something inside you changed. You stopped waiting, you stopped breaking, you stopped making room for a man who couldn't hold what was already in front of him. And that's when you stepped into something greater, not just a woman rising, but a queen awakening. Not loud, not broken, but complete, silent, unshakable. So hear this, dear woman, you are not just a memory, you're the standard. He will search for that look in every other face, hoping to feel something again. But he won't, because no one will ever look at him the way you did. Just before you walked away. Now say it, and say it with power. My silence spoke louder than his love ever could. Queens, write this in the comments and claim it. Let it echo in every part of you that ever felt unseen. And if this message reached a place inside your heart you've been trying to protect, like this video and subscribe to the channel. We are here, working hard to bring you truth, strength, and life-changing lessons. Because you were never meant to be quiet. You were meant to reign.